Hello, noble ones. Welcome back to Metatron's Academy. Apparently, UNESCO has published something about language learning. Now, this happened about, well, kind of last year, if you will. So it's not like this is new news, but it kind of slipped under my radar, so I kind of wanted to check it out with you. Let's go. Language Matters, the role and the power of multilingualism. This long read article is based on a talk by Stefania Giannini, UNESCO Assistant Director General for Education, for the Silver Jubilee celebration of International Mother Language Day 2025, which was held at UNESCO headquarters in Paris on the 21st of February 2025. All right, well, let's have a look. The International Mother Language Day, initiated by Bangladesh in 1999, is dedicated to preserving language diversity and promoting the use of mother languages in education. So far, so good. I've got nothing against this. In fact, I think it could be a good initiative as long as it's well meant. Let's see. Today, we live in a highly multilingual world. Well, what do you mean by this exactly? The world has always been multilingual, so I mean, but whatever. With more than 7,000 spoken or signed languages. As a linguist and former professor, I've spent much of my life working in this field, and the simplest way to summarize centuries of research in linguistic is the following. Let's see if we agree, guys. Let's see. Language is the bridge between the brain and society. So, I agree with the statement. I find it a little ugly. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just a bridge. I would rather have written a bridge between the mind and society. I think that would have sounded better. Anyways, it is both a unique human faculty and a social construct. I mean, yes, sure, a social construct. It depends how deep we go, because clearly the fact that we call this a can is a social construct, because it's not like there is a biological real rule that forces me to name this can, thus language diversity. At the same time, it doesn't really, I mean, it's a way to express the properties sometimes, depending on the properties of physical reality and how we interact with it. But then again, it's not dictated by the laws of physics. So in a way, yes, language is a social construct. The roots of it, though, are absolutely biological, and they are grounded in reality. So, in a way, communication is necessary for organisms to survive, whether it be within the animal world, whether it be among humans. And yet, language, the way we create it, is unique to the human species, but animals have all sorts of specific, varied, in fact, ways of communication, from sounds to quite articulate hormonal based communicative systems like in the bee world. It's some kind of chemicals. It's been a while. I don't remember exactly if it was hormones or not. Probably not. But anyways, cool. Let's start with a question. What do these three things have in common? So what? Human faculty, social construct. What's the third? Whatever. Women. Oh, okay. Sorry. These three. I misunderstand. So women, fire, and dangerous things. Most of us say nothing. Well, it depends on the woman. She could be as dangerous as fire, but whatever. But in Gerbal, an indigenous Australian language, these words belong to the same linguistic category. Okay, well, let's see why. Linguist George Lakoff explored this in his book Women, Fire and Dangerous Things. He argued that languages don't just label the world, they reflect and possibly structure knowledge in different ways. This insight helps us understand why multilingualism is so powerful. For centuries, linguists have explored fundamental questions about what language is and how it functions in human society. Right, okay, but what is the connection between fire, women, and dangerous things then? They kind of left that one. They kind of left that one out for grabs. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Don't be cheeky. There are three other key perspectives that have shaped modern linguistics and my own thinking about multilingualism. Okay. Ferdinand de Saussure saw language as a system of signs. Words don't have fixed meanings, they exist only in relation to the other words. Noam Chomsky introduced the idea of universal grammar. Yes, he did. He argued that humans are born with an innate ability to learn language and that all languages follow common patterns. Now, every time I watch an interview with Chomsky, I'm amazed at his ability to utilize language, like his choice of words and the way he puts them together, particularly as he got older, is impressive. But do keep in mind that now, at least from modern academia, when it comes to linguistics, he did get some things wrong, at least if we consider his early works, and it's kind of proven now. I might actually go into the details of this on a dedicated video. For now, fine, yes. Okay, universal grammar. Edward Sapir and Benjamin Worf showed how language and culture are deeply connected. Of course, now, this is very important to say. Language and culture are absolutely interconnected. And in fact, up to a certain extent, it is impossible to translate without a deep understanding of culture, unless you want to kind of botch the job. And the other, well, you could approximate a translation, but at the end of the day, to do a proper translation, you require the filter of culture. Otherwise, your translation is just a skin. It's not valid, and oftentimes it might actually lead to complete miscommunication and misunderstandings. But another thing I'd like to say is, like, for instance, in Japan, you could translate the word thank you as arigato and the word sorry as sumimasen. But the reality is that they don't perfectly overlap, meaning that oftentimes if I give a gift to a Japanese, they will apologize. They won't say thank you. Like, in my experience, 4 years in Japan, every time I've given any form of gift, from very small little thoughts, presents, to decent stuff, like stuff that it was like important, uh, I've never heard someone say arigatou gozaimasu. I've always heard them say sumimasen as they receive the gift. And in fact, it is polite to refuse it up to 3, sometimes even 4 times, considered politeness. Now, that's important, because otherwise what happens is that you will never speak like a native. Like, your pronunciation could be phenomenal, but if someone tells you you're really good at Japanese and you say arigato, that's kind of weird, because they deny it. They deny, even if you know you're good. Normally, you will say no, absolutely not. Yeah, mada mada desu. It's one way, mada mada da. Or like saying, I don't know, これからの頑張りにかかってきます. Whatever you choose to say in answer to that. Okay. Languages emphasize different aspects of reality. These linguists have shown that language isn't just about words and grammar. It's about how we construct meaning, how we learn, and how we engage with the world. Absolutely. And that brings me to a crucial point. Language is also a human right. No. I mean, no. It's kind of weird. You know why I feel this is kind of weird? Because it depends where she's trying to go with this. Like, as a thought, as an idea, if it's well-meaning, if it's well-meant, I can see some beauty in it. Oh, language is a human right, but is it though? And then again, rights are also a construct. So, but the way they work, they're different. Rights and duties are different, for instance. Is it a human right? To what? Like, sometimes some languages just die out, and it's a tragedy. I hope it didn't happen. Is it a human right, though? I mean, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think it is, or it should be. Then maybe articulate that, because right now it just sounds like, look at my beautiful words, but do they actually make sense? The Universal Declaration of Linguistic Rights, adopted in Barcelona in 1996, uphold the right to use one's own language without discrimination. I understand. Okay. Well, if you put it that way, I see, because there is a historical aspect to it. Because, for instance, as far as I understand, Welsh people weren't allowed to use the Welsh language for a long period of time, until that was changed. Now, there were some political reasons, and it usually have to do with governmental control, because, of course, if a people that live in your boundaries, if you will, in your kingdom, and they speak a different language and you don't know if they're plotting against you, then governments will often do that. Particularly, of course, a monarchy, but totalitarian governments do that too. Anyways, interesting. Let's continue. Ensuring linguistic rights is about giving people the freedom to use and learn their languages and to reaffirm their own identity, dignity, and participation in society. That's fine. The word identity has been overused so much that now I kind of, when I look at it, I'm like, but I understand that the basic concept I strongly agree with. Okay, multilingualism is the ground to unlock its potential. Cognitively, it sharpens problem solving, strengthens memory, and boosts adaptability. This is absolutely right, yes. Neurological research confirms this, I agree. Economically, multilingual workplaces perform better and drive innovation. I think this one depends on what subcategory of the economic system we are talking about, like we are operating in, because there are some businesses, some versions, for instance, I don't know, anything that has to do with, say, either like tourism or the expansion of business into the international sphere, then of course this benefits enormously by multilingual workplaces where people are capable to speak multiple languages. Again, it depends. Socially, multilingualism fosters inclusion, belonging, and peace. We're talking about multilingualism, right? Many of you in this room speak multiple languages. I'm sure you've experienced these benefits firsthand. We also know that mother tongue-based multilingual education works. Yeah. Learning in one's mother language improves literacy, obviously, builds confidence and strengthens learning. Yet 40% of people worldwide don't have access to education in the language they speak at home. Yeah, that's bad. I wish everybody could. Totally. Many governments consider multilingual education too complex or expensive. Yeah, expensive is annoying when governments do this because at the end of the day, you're investing into your people if you foster multilingual ability in your population. But the real cost is higher dropout rates, lower literacy, a million of children left behind because they're forced to learn in an unfamiliar language. This is why UNESCO champions mother tongue-based multilingual education. That's good. So what must we do to take multilingual education to make multilingual education a reality? Today, we're launching the global guidance on multilingual education, which outlines 5 key actions. Let's see. Make multilingual education a national priority. Multilingual education should be at the core of education policies and not an afterthought. Fine. Countries like Nepal and the Philippines have integrated mother tongue instructions into the national curriculum, okay. And the results are clear. Better learning outcomes, stronger engagement. That's fine. Train teachers to embrace linguistic diversity. Imagine a teacher in a class where half the students speak a different first language. Without training in multilingual teaching, both the teacher and the student struggle. Right, but then why don't you find... I guess it depends on the teacher. I understand the point, yeah. Pin on that. Create learning materials in multiple languages. Even in countries with strong policies, there aren't enough books and digital resources in local languages, and that's, of course, should be changed. Engage communities in preserving and passing on languages. Language isn't just learned in school, it's passed down in families, in songs and stories. And I'm going to do this, by the way. I'm going to teach my son Italian, and he's going to be raised bilingual. Projects like the Maori language nests in New Zealand show how intergenerational learning can revive languages. I'd like to hear what Maori sounds like, to be honest. It's interesting. Use technology to support all languages. AI and digital tools must recognize and support diverse languages. We need speech recognition for indigenous languages, for all languages. For all languages. How about we say that? Machine learning models that process minority languages, and open access to language technology. Languages are disappearing at an alarming rate, true. 1 every 2 weeks by some estimates. That's crazy. Each loss erases centuries of oral history, knowledge, and unique perspectives on the world. That's true. With AI-powered translation improving every day, we can find concrete solutions. Okay, so what do you guys think? I mean, in general, as long as they're not trying to hide some weird message, at the end of the day, in general, I agree. I do think that linguistic ability is a treasure. In fact, a cultural treasure that should be supported and maintained. And so that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for joining Metatron's Academy. Bye. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much.